Hi guys, welcome to another video, and if this is your first time here, all we do is talk about the Chelsea news updates in a little bit of detail, hopefully giving you the one-to-one feel and the fact that I try to make a little bit of sense of things. I've been a Chelsea fan since the age of 6 or 7 when I first went to Chelsea, 1980, that's how long ago it was. Hopefully you guys can relate to my content, to what I'm saying, so stick around. Stay tuned for the content because we're going to get into the transfer news, some speculation and looking ahead to Crystal Palace. So without further ado, stick with it. Let's get cracking. So I just want to start with some transfer news and some transfer speculation that's out there at the minute. Let's be honest, the transfer deadline is Monday night, 11 PM UK time. It's now going to ramp up. Between now and Monday, all sorts of speculation, last minute moves, loan moves. You can imagine all sorts is going to be going on. And one of those players they're talking about loaning is RubenLoftusCheek. Now, we all saw from Frank Lampard earlier in the week that he was open to allowing Loftus-Cheek to go out on loan if the right offer came along and it suited the player and the club. Bearing in mind, it's clear that Loftus-Cheek needs to be playing football. Understood it. We didn't really want to see him go, but we understood the situation. He needs to be playing, especially after his horrific injury. He needs to be playing a full season to get that element of doubt about whether he can push himself out of his head, get back to being confident and the player that we know he can be. So we're all set for him to go. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Ross Barkley goes to Villa. So does that mean that Frank is still going to let Loftus-Cheek go out on loan, or is he going to be keeping him at the club, or does it change things? Now, Frank was asked today in his pre-match press conference ahead of playing Crystal Palace today, and he basically, the message that he gave across in his press conference, if you haven't seen it, was that every player is taken on merit. Any offer that they get is taken into consideration, and it's one that needs to suit the player. It needs to be right for Chelsea themselves and the squad. And I've already seen that it's been misconstrued slightly with the fact that people are now saying that he's open to letting them leave. What Frank Lampard did say after that is that anyone that's left here when the window shuts will be used and played this season. It's a big season, loads and loads of games. Players in the squad will get first team football this season. And I wonder if that's going to mean Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, there are reports today to say that Loftus-Cheek is someone that West Ham believe they can get signed on loan. They've already spent about 20 million on two players. Souček, who's on loan last season, and a defender for 5 million. We know they haven't got a lot of money, which is why the Declan Rice link is still there. He still wants to come. I think 60 million will probably do it. But they believe they can get Ruben Loftus-Cheek on loan. Now, I've also saw a report earlier in the week saying that somebody like Tony Rudiger could be offered to West Ham as well, but more on him in a second. But I just think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it's going to be interesting to see if he goes or if he stays, or if he's involved tomorrow even. His future's unclear, and if an offer comes in, they're going to evaluate it. I mean, how do you feel about Loftus-Cheek? Would you send him out? I probably would, to be fair, because I don't think he's ahead of the likes of Mason Mount and Kai Havertz. But we have to wait and see. So to Tony Rudiger, and as reported in the news update posted on my channel yesterday, there's a report stating that Chelsea want him to sign a brand new contract to extend his contract by an additional year before he's then allowed to go out on loan, with Tottenham circling, and PSG and some other clubs are looking at Rudiger on loan for the season. It's clear 5-2 doesn't go. 4-2, much better, because you've got two players for each position. It's looking more and more like Rudiger is going to be going out the door once he signs an extended contract, because Chelsea want to protect their investment. They want to make sure they get money for him this time next season if he's going to leave. I keep seeing stuff about Kurt Zouma being linked with Everton. I wouldn't get rid of Zouma. I think Zuma's been the most impressive and someone who's improved the most under Frank Lampard so far. I'd keep hold of Zouma. I don't know what you guys would think about Zouma. Would you keep him? I would. And if anyone's going to go, it would be Rudiger. So in this press conference again today, Frank was broached on the subject of Marcus Alonso and what happened at West Brom. We all know what happened. We all read reports. We've all had our say. Frank Lampard was basically reluctant to go into details again when he was asked of Alonso, and he said this: "I'm not going to disclose what goes on in the dressing room. I think that would be wrong." So that was it. It was a game where we were disappointed to be 3-0 down at half time. I had to make changes, but this is key. All I ask from the players is whatever, for good or for bad, the players stick together in every moment, as that is the only thing that brings a successful group. So that's as much as I've got to say on it. What he did also say is that he's not the sort of person, or he doesn't want the squad to be a squad that holds a grudge, and he wants people just to deal with it, draw a line under it and move on. Does that mean that there is an opportunity for Marcos Alonso to get back in? Well, it looked as though he was out the door and probably wouldn't play again. We have to wait and see. But could he be involved at some point tomorrow, with Chilwell still working his way back in? I think he'll probably be on the bench, or maybe he'll have to miss this one out for Emerson, but he could be featuring back in the coming weeks. So to some good news regarding the squad for tomorrow. Christian Pulisic, Captain America, is back in the squad, but Frank Lampard was key to point out today that he won't be starting the game. He'll be on the bench, but he just gives you that little bit extra, and that's good to see. So Pulisic is there, and Hakim Ziyech is also getting closer. He's not quite ready for this squad tomorrow lunchtime, but he's getting close to being in contention in the squad. It's great to have Christian Pulisic back. Even though he's not starting the game tomorrow, that will give everyone a massive lift. And it will give Frank Lampard a different option. Now, I said in my last video yesterday, where I was talking to Frank Lampard and, you know, the rants against him, the poor form we've had, and I've asked people to have some perspective. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. It'll be linked at the end of this video. And I kept saying, as Frank has said in his pre-match press conference today, we've got 5 new signings that haven't hardly featured in the first team squad, whereas they would be nailed on starters. You have to believe that Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech will be in the starting 11 as out-and-out wingers, whether that's in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. They bring a completely different dimension to how we've been playing. You then put Ben Chilwell and Silva in our back four, playing week in, week out, along with Mendy, and things change. A lot of things change, and it'll be different. So that's why I'm appealing for a little bit of perspective. But to have Pulisic there tomorrow is a massive lift. As I'm saying, if for God forbid, touch wood, it doesn't, if the game goes against us tomorrow, we've got an option for a different dynamic, and that's Christian Pulisic and what he gives us. So that's great news for the squad tomorrow. There was no news on Timo Werner and this muscle strain that he had, which prevented him from taking the penalty. It looks as though he's fit and he's available also. Now to another point that Frank made in his press conference, which was interesting. When he was asked of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, and the fact that they've played a few positions. When he was asked about Werner and Havertz, he said that he's got a clear idea of where he wants them to play, and he indicated that so far they've been playing slightly in other different positions, just sort of to fill gaps. He never actually said that, but the impression was just to sort of be stop gaps while we're waiting for other players to come back from injury. And I thought that was interesting, because to me that's a clear indication that Timo Werner will be the main man up front to start with, when everyone's fit and available. And I wonder if that means that Kai Havertz will be someone that starts as a number 10, and maybe Mason Mount slightly deeper. I just wonder. Something to consider, something to think about. So to the game tomorrow, lunchtime, Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. And Palace come into the game having won 2 of their 3 games so far. They lost last weekend to Everton. And Chelsea, as we know, played 3, won 1, drawn 1, lost 1. So it's a game that I already believe, for me, even though Frank has sort of tried to play it down today, I think it's must win already. And I think that Chelsea will go out there with a determination to put on a good performance after the defeat to Liverpool and the poor performance at West Brom. And you will see changes from the team that played against Tottenham. Mendy will start again in goal, I believe. I thought he played well the other day. He was imposing. He was authoritative. He had one little moment where he dropped the ball, but he recovered. And I think he's going to start. 2 good saves as well in that game. I think Ben Chilwell starts left back. Thiago Silva will start centre back. And it's interesting to see what happens if Reece James starts at right back or if Aspi will. I think he could go Aspi, because up against Louis Zaha, and Zaha's not exactly the quickest, but he's skillful. And I wonder if the experience of Aspi is better to go with rather than Reece James. Next to Thiago Silva, I think will be Kurt Zouma. Tomori played well the other day against Tottenham. Christensen played well the other day against West Brom, despite the fact we lost. I thought he played quite well. So that's my back five. Mendy, Chilwell, Silva, Zouma and Aspi. Middle of midfield, you'll see Mateo Kovacic will play and N'Golo Conte will play, who was rested from the start against Spurs. Those two, I think you'll find the 4-2-3-1 formation. You'll continue with Mason Mount, Kai Havertz and Callum Hudson-Odoi. And up front, I think will be Timo Werner this time, rather than Tammy. That's what I think the team will be. Chelsea just need to put in a good performance. The thing is, at the moment, because of all the criticism, because of all the negativity, we just want to see 3 points. If we struggle to have 3 points, as long as we get the win, that's the be-all and end-all. If we draw and drop points, disappointing, and we're saying that ahead of the game already. If we lose, God forbid. So it's a game we've got to go and win. Ideally, we want the 3 points, of course, but if you can put in a good performance and one that's going to give you confidence, then that's an added bonus. Chelsea need to win this game tomorrow. Anything else is disappointing and will just completely ramp up the pressure on Frank. So let's hope the players deliver it. Let's hope we get the right performance, plenty of goals, and we can see Christian Pulisic come on and have an influence in the second half. That's it from me, guys, today. Just a bit of a news update and a look at Crystal Palace. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Post your comments in the comment section below about anything discussed in this video. Smash that like button for me. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel by hitting that subscribe button. But make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss my videos come out. Have a cracking Friday. Enjoy the game tomorrow lunchtime. I'm going to be up around the area tomorrow. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Fingers crossed we get the result. Enjoy. Have a good weekend. See you next time.